Diddy hosted what he called freak-offs, parties so brutal that the young men and women would sometimes vomit and pass out from being drugged. They would be beaten. They would be raped. They alleged that Diddy filmed it.
We also know that the nickname Puffy comes from this temperament that he has, that he's a kind of guy who is easily angered, and when he gets angered, then he huffs and he puffs, and so people start to call him Puffy.
We're not dealing with, like, a normal person, and the person that actually did the abuse is somebody who's, like, powerful.
Diddy is under increasing scrutiny as shocking allegations continue to pile up against him. The music mogul, known for his extravagant lifestyle and iconic parties, now finds himself in a major legal and public relations crisis. New footage has emerged showing Diddy allegedly abusing his ex-partner Cassie, which has sparked outrage and furthered the accusations of abuse against him. As more lawsuits come his way, it's becoming clear that Diddy's past actions are catching up with him.
These claims made by the Diddy defense team. Our team has reached out to CNN, but we have not yet heard back. We'll keep you posted on that. In the meantime, both sides on the Diddy case are going to be in New York in that federal courtroom today at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Surely this is going to come up. And what does it do for Diddy's case overall? Let's talk about the trial. I want to bring in our legal eagles now with me, Ves Mitev, David Bruno, and Jennifer Brandt. I want to go around the room and ask you all how...
As the stories of Diddy's abusive behavior mount, more and more victims are coming forward with their versions of events, painting a picture of a man who used his power and influence to control everyone around him. Adria English, a woman who once attended Diddy's infamous parties, has shared her haunting experience. Initially invited to what seemed like a glamorous and exclusive event, Adria quickly realized the truth of what was happening behind the scenes.
This is going to affect the prosecution. I want to start with my prosecutor, my former prosecutor, I should say, his defense attorney now, David Bruno. What do you say, please?
Yeah, sure. What the defense is trying to do is keep this out of that trial. I mean, it is damaging. Obviously, we've all seen the video of the violence, and it really does corroborate a lot of the pressure, force, coercion that's required in the indictment itself. So what the defense is saying is this is not authentic, and it's part of what the prosecutor would have to show to admit the evidence that is fairly and accurately depicts what it does.
At first, it was just fun. But over time, the atmosphere turned sinister. She describes how every party she attended got worse until she felt like nothing more than a pawn in Diddy's game. I was just there for entertainment, and that was it. The glamour quickly faded when I realized the control he had over everyone, Adria said.
And if you attack the authenticity of it, potentially the defense could keep it out. And that's really what they're trying to do. It's interesting to me that this is very specific in a sense that in the joint letter, U.S. attorney and defense, the defense is saying that it was uploaded into a free software. I mean, that's as specific as it comes as to what they did, how they did it, and when they did it. So it will be interesting to see. Just final point, Cassie could still testify about it. Diddy also gave a statement after apologizing about it. So even if the video's out.
April Lampros, a model and actress, made one of the most shocking allegations. She claims that Diddy filmed her without her consent. It was a deliberate violation of my privacy. Diddy used his power to control every situation, April shared. This accusation has sent shockwaves, especially given the growing conversation around consent and power in the entertainment industry.
The prosecutor could still admit it other ways.
Exactly. David, thank you for that. We've got that statement from Diddy. Let's roll the tape of that, please.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you got to do that. I was up. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now.
Okay. Jennifer Brandt, let me go to you next, please. Your thoughts about how problematic this is.
Well, I agree with David. The defense has been trying to keep this out for quite some time. So this is not the first attempt to do it, but it might be successful.
Rodney Jones, a former associate of Diddy, added his voice to the growing list of those who have come forward. Describing his time working with Diddy, Rodney says it was more than just about the music and business. It wasn't about collaboration, it was about control. Diddy needed to be in charge of everything, from my career to my personal life. He explained. Rodney's story paints a troubling picture of how Diddy manipulated the people in his orbit, demanding that everyone do things his way or not at all.
Because we have to see, was the video altered? Is there an original copy? It's hard to believe that there wouldn't be. And CNN is denying these claims. So we need to figure out the facts and really what's going on. But regardless, I mean, this video does not go to the heart of the charges against Diddy. It just is being used to show his violent tendencies. So I think there are other, there's other evidence, other witnesses that can certainly help support the charges against him in the prosecution, making their case. So I don't. It is critical in that it's, we're all visual and we want to, seeing it is certainly upsetting. But even without it, I don't think it means that Diddy, goes free.
Joy Dickerson has spoken out about how Diddy belittled her professionally. He didn't respect me as an equal. It wasn't about collaboration. It was about him treating me like I wasn't worth the time, Joy recalled. Her defiance in refusing to let him walk all over her is a story many others have echoed. He can't just walk all over me, and I'm not afraid to speak up about it. The list of accusers continues to grow, and with each new voice, Diddy's defense becomes harder to maintain. More and more people who were once...
Right, Jennifer, right. The video of the incident would be the best evidence of what happened. And here, as you and David noted, it can be discussed. Cassie can testify to it. Who knows if there would be any other... witnesses to this, perhaps someone from the hotel who was watching that security footage at the time handled the tape, but again, nothing like seeing the video in the original copy. Vess, let me go to you on this issue. So I am just gobsmacked that the original copy wouldn't be saved by that hotel. The fact that this was sold off, but we know it was. Okay, CNN gets this copy of the original, and then
close to him are now revealing his dark side. This isn't just a few isolated incidents, it's a pattern, and the details are getting more disturbing with every testimony. One of the most chilling stories to emerge is the Jane Doe case. A woman whose identity has been kept secret has accused Diddy of manipulating and controlling her for years. Her case, still ongoing, paints a picture of a man who used his influence.
We really don't know if they still have the original or what, but Diddy's team is saying it's destroyed. Vess, what concerns do you think, if any, CNN may have?
None. From a 30,000-foot view, this does absolutely nothing for Sean Combs' case. I mean, barring a presidential pardon, he's going to spend the rest of his life behind bars. So CNN's already gone on record saying that the video was unaltered. Doug Wigdor, Cassie's lawyer, has absolutely denied the claims. And as everyone here has talked about this morning, his own admission on an Instagram post is going to make this video absolutely admissible as a prior bad act, as a party admission. It goes in under multiple theories. And another interesting thing,
It's not just for personal gain, but to terrorize and control those around him. The allegations are serious, involving both physical and emotional abuse. And the fact that Jane Doe isn't the only one makes the situation even more troubling. As the case progresses, more women are coming forward, each telling stories that align with Jane Doe's accusations. The pattern of...
Should note is that oftentimes in these cases, it's the defense that wants this video in. They're just making a record, whether it's for appeal or whether it's for the case. They want this video in because they're going to end up, a lot of the times they'll take portions of the video, they'll slow it down. They want to break it down to its molecular level so they can show the jury, look, this isn't as bad as it looks. Sure, sped up, it looks one way, but if you slow it down, if you take it pixel by pixel, it's a completely different version of events. So I think CNN, they have a very low stake in this game. They aired it. He admitted it. It's been all over every single news outlet. It's been on social media. There's no putting this genie back in the bottle. And that's why it's a joint letter, by the way, because the prosecution knows this, the defense knows this. It's not even a roadblock in the case. It's merely a buoy that they have to get past.
Mistreatment is clear, a legal expert commented. What started as whispers now seems to be backed by credible evidence. The wave of revelations really began with Cassie. When she filed for divorce in 2018 after a decade-long relationship, it raised more than just questions about their personal life. Sources close to Cassie have suggested that her decision to speak out
before they go out in the open harbor in front of the jury. So to me, this does absolutely nothing for Diddy's case. It's mere fodder for it. That's it. He's not seeing the light of day.
Vez, thank you for that. Another question for you, please. As you're no stranger to high-profile cases, our viewers might recall that you're representing Rex Heuermann's children. Rex Heuermann is accused in the Gilgo Beach murders case. And I'm curious if you think that Diddy's children should be speaking to the press at this time or avoiding the press at this time pre-trial.
Well, I'm a big proponent of avoiding the press at all costs, absent having some point to make. So
was the catalyst for the stories of manipulation and control to surface. Cassie was trapped in a cycle. One insider revealed Diddy controlled every part of her life. Her career, her choices. She wasn't allowed to make decisions for herself. While it's still unclear how much Cassie shared initially, her public breakup was the first crack in Diddy's polished image. As her side of the story began to leak, it set off a chain reaction, with other women coming forward to reveal the toxic behavior they had.
We've seen the outpouring of support. We've seen that they've gone on social media. We've seen that they've issued statements in support. And of course, every one of those children is a potential witness by the prosecution. And that's the risk you take when you're trying the case, both in the court of public opinion and in the courtroom, that you can be subpoenaed to testify at any time and understand something as innocuous as a throwaway comment or as an Instagram post or a hashtag when you're confronted with it, in the very cold, lonely space in the witness box in front of 12 silent jurors in a hushed courtroom. It takes on a whole different persona. And of course, that's the danger with making statements, extrajudicial and otherwise. So
experienced. Each new story, whether from former lovers or associates, added to the narrative of a man who used his power to break people down instead of building them up. For years, Diddy's white parties were seen as the ultimate symbol of success and luxury. Celebrities and industry giants would mingle under glitzy chandeliers, sipping champagne and celebrating life. But as more stories come to light, the true nature of these extravagant affairs is being called into question. Some attendees have suggested that these parties weren't just about fun, they were about control. He made sure everyone knew who was in charge.
If it were me, I would be telling these children not to say anything except through their lawyers, just to say that to let the process run its course and that they stand by their father, which is really the only thing they can say.
Right. Very well said. Ves Mitev, appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming on with us this morning. We'll look forward to having you back soon. I know we have to let you go. And my friends at home, tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have a live report on Diddy's hearing today. We'll have a live report from New York from one of our Script News sister stations reporters who's going to be in the courtroom. And perhaps we'll see what children of Diddy show up to support him today. Jennifer Brandt, David Bruno, you're both coming with us. I want you to come with us at home, too. Here's what's coming up next.
The rapper-turned-producer 50 Cent has become a key figure in the ongoing storm surrounding Sean Diddy Combs. With his upcoming documentary shedding light on Diddy's alleged pattern of mistreatment, 50 Cent is not just telling a story. He's giving a voice to those who've suffered in silence for years. The documentary promises to be nothing short of a bombshell, featuring people who have come forward with their own harrowing stories of abuse, manipulation, and control at the hands of the entertainment mogul. As more individuals speak up, Diddy's defenses are quickly running thin, and the reputation he worked so hard to build is rapidly disintegrating. This is going to be a big deal, 50 Cent said in a recent statement. People are lining up
this Friday morning on Opening Statements.
Precious little girl, and she was a loving little girl. Emily was such a beautiful person. You couldn't come around here and not smile.
Tragedy affects not only her family, but the entire San Carlos Apache tribe.
This case is so heartbreaking. An indigenous 14-year-old girl reported missing and then found dismembered. We're being a voice for victim Emily Pike this morning. And a stepmom arrested after allegedly holding her stepson captive for 20 years. How did this go on for so long without anybody noticing? We'll talk about it next.
To spill the tea. And it's becoming evident that the floodgates have opened. With each passing day, more individuals, some public figures, others behind the scenes, are stepping forward to share their experiences with Diddy's toxic behavior. What started as whispers in the industry has now escalated into a full-blown exposure of power dynamics, manipulation, and control that went unchecked for far too long. The people telling their stories now range from former employees and business partners to ex-girlfriends and former friends, all recounting incidents that paint a disturbing portrait of Diddy's treatment of those around him. As more stories pile up, it's becoming clear that these are not isolated events, but part of a larger, darker pattern.
10:15, a dog is heard barking.
This is the first case you'll ever hear that you've got to determine the time of death by a dog's wail.
There were no ring cameras. There were no cell phones to ping off locations. Was that white Bronco there at the time you drove by it?
I didn't see it. There was one critical witness that was never called.
She saw OJ's white Bronco.
Trial and Error. Why did OJ win? A Court TV original series. New episode Sunday night, 8 Eastern and Pacific. Only on Court TV.
Now for what's trending in true crime, and it is enough to make your jaw drop. A man found...
One that spans years and touches multiple aspects of his personal and professional life. As the documentary draws nearer to its release, the pressure on Diddy is mounting. Once seen as an untouchable legend in the entertainment world, the shelves of Diddy's empire are beginning to collapse. His image as a self-made mogul, an influential producer, and a philanthropist is now under siege, with his reputation taking hit after hit. The mask is slipping, revealing a side of the mogul many had long suspected but could never prove. With each new claim that comes to light, the public's perception of Diddy is shifting dramatically, from admired businessman to feared tyrant. Fans and critics alike are grappling with this new reality. For those who once saw him as a trailblazer in hip-hop and business.
Emaciated, allegedly held captive since 2005. Authorities say the 32-year-old Connecticut man was held for 20 years by his stepmother. 56-year-old Kimberly Sullivan facing a slew of charges, including assault, kidnapping, and unlawful restraint. Police said that the man set fire to his room in order to gain his freedom. How sad is that? This victim was subjected to starvation and severe neglect, hadn't received medical care in years, according to authorities. Sullivan's attorney says she was, quote, stunned to hear the allegations, and she denies them. She's been released after posting $300,000 bond. Wow, that's a high bond.
The revelation of these allegations is a shock to the system. Diddy's role in shaping the careers of countless artists, his influence in shaping the music industry itself, those contributions are now being overshadowed by the dark cloud of these accusations. People are asking, can he recover from this? Is it even possible? After decades of carefully cultivating his image, can Diddy manage to rebuild the trust that he has lost? Or has he crossed a line from which there is no return? As the legal investigations deepen and more victims come forward with their accounts, the heat on Diddy only intensifies. His once iron grip on his empire is slipping, and it's becoming harder for him to distance himself from the allegations. Legal experts have already speculated that the court cases could go on for years, draining his fine.
So he was actually amused by what he was saying. He was entertained by what he was saying. So when you look at expressions, Julie, and you have to tie it to what he's actually saying, and then watch how they morph on and off the face and how fast they do it, the profile of the face. There's a lot of things to consider.
Sure.
Overall, and then his head was down, right? He was breaking eye contact. So this is kind of like a moment where it did create probably some sort of uncomfortableness and uneasiness. And he's moving around a lot. This is all uneasy, uncomfortable conversation, even for him as a adult performer.
Wow. Oh, Susan, I'm loving this. Do we have time? Let's see if we can squeeze another clip in real quick analysis. Okay, here we go.
It's about how people in positions of power have been able to get away with abusive behavior for far too long, often at the expense of those who can't. Fight back. And as the investigation continues to unfold, it's clear that Diddy's days of being untouchable are rapidly coming to an end. Fans, critics, and even industry insiders are all left with the same question. Will Diddy be able to weather this storm, or will this be the moment that brings his empire crashing down? With the investigation still ongoing and more people coming forward by the day, it's impossible to predict what the future holds. But one thing is clear: the consequences. of this scandal are only just beginning to unfold.
Well, at the time of the murder, is that right?
Yes.
Is it fair to say you were in a romantic or sexual relationship with her?
Yes. You can say that.
Was that true?
Yes.
Did she have anything to do with the planning or the execution of the plan to kill Fabio Cimentilli?
No.
You're sure?
I'm positive.
Okay, Susan, 20-second analysis. Go ahead, please.
Again, the fake sadness. He was very affirmative. So the thing is, he's actually practiced that several times. That's why he's able to do it so quickly. But he's very, very uneasy, and he's turning his head like this. He's answering the questions. Well, kind of, was sort of. No, no, he did not. He did not have a good relationship.
Susan Constantine, we love you. You're the best.